Welcome to Impact Factor, your weekly dose of breaking medical research. I'm Perry Wilson. This week, a study that made me say, wait, what? What does the appendix have to do with Parkinson's disease? Well, on its own, not very much, but in terms of our understanding of Parkinson's, quite a lot, actually. The study, appearing in Science Translational Medicine, is really a series of studies, all focusing on a central hypothesis: that aggregated alpha-synuclein, the principal component of Lewy bodies, which are themselves a pathognomonic finding in Parkinson's disease, may originate not from the brain, but from the gut. Is this plausible? Actually, it is. Studies have shown that infection and toxins can promote aggregation of alpha-synuclein in neurons in the GI tract. Furthermore, this aggregated alpha-synuclein may promote further aggregation of alpha-synuclein in a prion-like fashion. In fact, the aggregated alpha-synuclein may travel right up the vagus nerve from the gut to the brain and start a cascade of reactions that may ultimately lead to Parkinson's disease. Okay, you heard a lot of mays there. This is all really hypothetical stuff. It's not concrete. But what does this have to do with the appendix? Well, we continue to learn that the appendix may not be a purely vestigial organ and may play a significant role in immune surveillance and reconstitution in the GI tract. Oh, and when you section a healthy appendix and stain it for alpha-synuclein, this is what you get. The alpha-synuclein is in red here. Yep, it's all over the place. The authors of the Science Translational Medicine study actually looked at appendixes from individuals with Parkinson's disease and healthy controls. They both contained similar amounts of alpha-synuclein, but the alpha-synuclein was more insoluble in the patients with Parkinson's, just like the alpha-synuclein seen in brain biopsies. Now, if you remove the appendix, you might get rid of some of that alpha-synuclein, right? Would the effect be noticeable? So, due to universal healthcare stuff, Sweden has health records on all of its citizens going back to the mid-60s. The authors examined this data and found about 500,000 individuals who had an appendectomy and matched them based on age, sex, and a few other factors to around 1.1 million people who didn't. Then they looked forward in time to see who developed Parkinson's disease. The results were subtle, but highly statistically significant. 1.17 out of every 1,000 people who had an appendectomy developed Parkinson's disease, compared to 1.4 out of every 1,000 people who didn't have an appendectomy, a nearly 20% reduction. Okay, let's pause. No, you should not have your appendix out. Although a 20% reduction sounds great, the absolute risk is so low as to make that number mostly meaningless. Based on these numbers, you'd need to remove 4,347 appendixes to prevent one case of Parkinson's disease. That's not a great prevention strategy, in my opinion. But this study isn't really about appendectomies. This study is about adding weight to a controversial hypothesis that the origins of a devastating brain disease may lie not in the skull, but in the gut. And that is certainly something to digest. For Medscape, I'm Perry Wilson.